Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Emerging Franchise Brands Podcast. I'm your host, Frank Fiume, here live at the IFA2024 National Convention, and looking forward to interviewing some folks at this year's event. It is my pleasure to have one of the newest IFA members, Gamaliel Garfio. Gamaliel, how are you?
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
So, all right, tell me what the two brands are that you have.
Yeah, so my wife and I own two restaurant brands here in Phoenix. One is called Tilandia. It's mostly Mexican desserts, fruit desserts, shaved ice cream, fruit bowls, that sort of thing. The other one is Taqueria Factory. It's an authentic taco and burrito shop. We just opened about a year and a half ago. We have 4 locations and we're working on 3 more.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Now, you clued me in and told me you've been a IFA member for a whole
3 days, really. 3 days. Yeah, I have to thank Paul and his team, Zach, and they did an amazing job at still getting me to the convention. Unfortunately, I missed yesterday, but I'm here and I've been enjoying it. This is it's an amazing convention. I've been to several with other brands that I used to be with, and I'm very excited to be here.
That's great. So I know you're getting hit with, there's just so many people to meet and so much information. I appreciate you stopping by to chat with me. What do you hope to get out of the IFA at this event? I mean, there's so much to do in such little time.
Yeah, I think it's mainly to make connections, getting to know what the IFA brings to the table to someone like me, who's a franchisor of 2 restaurant concepts that are in a growing mode. And I'm very happy to see that there is a lot of resources, a lot of companies that I could utilize to improve our operations and really take advantage of all the resources that the IFA puts on the table for us. So I'm very glad that I joined, and I look forward to not only make this a successful convention for me and my brands, but also looking forward to future conventions as well.
That's awesome. Gamaliel, it's hard enough to get one brand off the ground and franchise it. Come on, 2? I mean, how do you do it and you have a smile on your face?
It is, because I've been, it's hard. I'm not going to lie to you. Especially for someone who migrated to this country when I was almost 16 years old, not knowing a word in English, and now 52 years old, and actually 53 as of last week, and to have 2 brands that we were able to franchise and having great success with them, it's really truly a blessing. And I thank my entire team. I thank my wife for supporting me and believing in all the stories that I told her to be able to get to where we're at, and I think that the best is yet to come.
Absolutely. She believed in you, right? And I always said, my wife, obviously so critically important in the role to be supportive, because as a founder, we have good days and we have some really dark days, and there's nothing like coming home to your wife that says, I believe in you and you'll get through it, right?
It is, because you're right, as founders and the people that are in the front lines, it's hard. A lot of days are, like you said, dark days, and because you're dealing with a lot at the same time, right? You're trying to run businesses. So I think that having that structure and that support and your wife and your family, it's critical to the success of a CEO and a founder of 2 restaurant brands. So I consider myself blessed to not only have an amazing team, but have a wife that believes in me and supports me and believes the stories that I tell her that have allowed us to get where we are today.
You're building a beautiful legacy, Gamaliel.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Okay, I got one last question for you, especially for a guy who's launched 2 brands. If I was an aspiring franchisor looking to launch my brand, before I did it, what's one tip that you'd give me before I jumped into franchising?
Frank, I would say that the first thing you have to ask yourself, are people going to benefit from becoming your franchisees, in a way that would make sense for them, especially when, for example, in the restaurant industry, it's a big commitment and a big financial commitment. Some of these units take $400,000 to $600,000 to put together, and for you as a franchisor, you have to feel comfortable with people spending that kind of money and knowing that what you bring to the table, your processes and your recipes and your know-how and your menu and the different things that make you who you are, you have to ask yourself, am I the type of business and concept that people are going to benefit from? And if the answer is yes, go for it and franchise your concept. And I think that if you were honest with that answer, I think you'll be a very successful brand, for the public to invest in.
Gamaliel, that is great knowledge, just great tip. Thank you so much for being on. Appreciate it.
Frank, I appreciate you having me on your podcast. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at ifbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fiume, or Emerging Franchise Group, LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.